Every piece of retirement advice you have ever read is giving you the right moves in the wrong order. Max your 401k. Open an IRA. Cut your biggest expense. But if you make them in that sequence, starting from nothing in your 40s or 50s, the first unexpected bill will send you withdrawing early and paying a 10% penalty. You will end up further behind than when you started. The moves were right. The order was wrong. And that is the part nobody teaches. I spent time studying the Federal Reserve data, the IRS notices, the Vanguard research on why people in their 40s and 50s try to catch up and stop. The ones who fail are not failing because they lack discipline. They fail because they were told to save before they were protected from the thing that forces them to stop. I call this the sequence problem. So in this video, I am going to give you 3 things you can do now in the order they actually need to happen. The first is the one nobody tells you to make first. The second is money already sitting unclaimed at your job right now. And the third is a window built into the tax code that most people in their 50s and early 60s have never heard of. In 2026, it is worth up to $35,750 in a single year. And by the end, you will know exactly what to do, in what order, so the gap you just saw stops feeling like something that is going to bury you and starts feeling like something you can actually close. Now, you probably came here right after seeing your number. Maybe it was bigger than you expected. Maybe it confirmed the thing you have been afraid of. It told you that you need to do something. It did not tell you what to do first. And the good news is you can start now, regardless of how little you have. So let us get into it. Before you put a single dollar into a retirement account, you need to build a small cash buffer, around $1,000 to $2,000, enough to cover 1 month of the bills you cannot avoid. Rent or mortgage, food, power or petrol. You know, the basics. That is it. A buffer floor. Something to help you bounce back when life happens. Now, you might be thinking that is backwards. You are behind. Every month counts. Why leave money sitting still in a savings account when you could be investing it? Because of what happens without it. You put money into your 401k and it feels good because you are finally moving. But 3 months in, the car breaks down. Or the boiler dies in the middle of winter. Or a medical bill lands that you did not see coming and you have no cash. So where do you turn? The only money you have. The retirement account. And that is the trap. You did the right thing. You saved. Therefore, you got punished for it because the only way to reach that money early is to pay the penalty to get it out. Every time you pull out money from your 401k before you are 59 and a half, the government charges you 10% on top of the normal tax. So a $1,000 repair does not cost you $1,000. It costs you that, plus the penalty, plus the tax, plus everything that money would have grown into over the next 20 years. And that is not a rare story. The Federal Reserve found that in a single year, more than $50 billion was pulled out of retirement accounts early in hardship withdrawals and penalties. These are not careless people. Life simply did what life does, and they had nothing standing between the emergency and their retirement. The buffer floor is the thing that stands in between. A small wall of cash that takes the hit so your retirement money never has to. The boiler dies, you pay from the buffer, and your retirement keeps growing, untouched. The shock still comes, it just stops breaking the plan. Now, notice what the buffer floor is not. It is not your retirement fund. It is not an investment. It is not money you are trying to grow. It has one job. It sits there and waits for the day you need it. That is success. Boring, still, and ready. So this week, open a separate savings account, one that is not linked to your debit card so it is a little annoying to reach. Annoying is good. Feed that account before any retirement money until it holds 1 month of your essential bills. The moment it hits that number, you stop. You do not keep filling it. The buffer floor is a floor, not a mountain. You build it once, and you stand on it. Because once that floor is under you, something changes. Now you can put money into retirement and actually leave it there, no starting over every time life sends a bill. And the next move is not about money you have to find. It is about money that is already yours, sitting at your job right now, that you might be walking past every single month. Now that you have a buffer floor under you, the second move is the closest thing to free money you will ever be offered. And most people leave at least some of it behind. It is your employer match. If your job offers a 401k, there is a good chance they also offer to put money in alongside you. Up to a point. You add $1, they add 50 cents, or sometimes a full dollar right next to it. That is not a bonus. That is part of your pay. You just have to claim it. Think about what that actually means. If your employer matches you dollar for dollar, you just made a 100% return on that money before it was ever invested. No risk, no waiting. A good year in the stock market gives you about 10%. This beats it the second the money lands. But the match only stretches so far. It stops at a limit, usually a slice of your pay. And this is where most people lose out, so let me show you exactly how it works. Say your employer matches what you put in, up to 3% of your salary. You earn $60,000 a year. That means if you put in 3% of your pay, which is $1,800 across the year, they put in $1,800 too, free. But if you only put in 1%, they only match 1%. You leave 2/3 of their money sitting there. And if you put in nothing, you get nothing. Therefore, the goal is simple. You contribute at least enough to reach their limit, so you collect every dollar they are willing to add. That is why I call this the free money window. It is open on every paycheck, but it only opens so wide, and it does not wait. Miss it this month, and that month's match is gone for good. You cannot go back for it. So this week, log into your benefits account and find two numbers. The first is the percent your employer matches. The second is the cap, the highest percent they will match up to. Then set your own contribution to at least that percent. That is the whole move. If your employer matches up to 4% and you are only putting in 2, raise yourself to 4. You just doubled what they give you, and it cost you nothing but a setting change. There is also a free tool linked below that shows you the gap between what you have saved now and what you are going to need. It only asks 3 things: your age, what you have saved so far, and your household income. 2 minutes, and you will see the real size of the number you are working with. And once you have it, every move in this video, starting with this match, is how you start closing it. Now, stay with me. The first move, your buffer floor, and this second move, your employer match, are both things you can start this week to get your house in order. But the third move is different, and it is the one I want you to plan for. It is about speed. It is the one place in the whole system where someone who started late can move faster than someone who started early. And it only opens for a few short years, which is exactly why the government built it the way they did. That window has a proper name buried in the tax law, but I call it the sprint window, and it works like this. For most of your working life, there is a cap on how much you can put into a 401k each year. Once you turn 50, they let you add a bit more on top, a catch-up, so you can put in extra to close the distance. But there is a second rule that almost slips by unnoticed. For 4 years only, from age 60 to age 63, they lift that catch-up much higher. In 2026, that lets you put up to $35,750 into your 401k in a single year. To see how big that jump is, line it up against the normal catch-up. At 55, you can add $8,000 on top of the base. But the year you turn 60, that rises to $11,250, an extra $3,250 you are allowed to save every year for 4 years straight. And that is before any of it grows. Now there is one thing you have to check, and I do not want you to miss it. This is a rule the government allows, it is not a rule the government forces, and the government does not run your 401k. Your employer does through whatever company they pick to manage it. So the law says your employer is allowed to offer this higher limit, but it is up to them to switch it on. Think of it like a law that lets a shop sell something. The shop is allowed to stock it. That does not mean every shop does. Most workplace plans do offer this, but yours might be one that has not turned it on yet. So before you count on it, log in or call your plan and ask one question. Does my plan offer the age 60 to 63 catch-up? If yes, you are set. If no, that is worth a conversation with whoever runs benefits where you work. Now think about who this rule is built for. Not the person who is already comfortable. It is built for the person who is behind. Maybe your kids have finally moved out. Maybe your mortgage is smaller than it used to be. Maybe you are earning more than you ever have, with room to put money away fast for the first time in years. That may be exactly where you are headed in your late 50s, with a reward waiting that you did not even know was there. So what you do with this depends on where you stand right now. If you are 60 to 63 today, the window is open. Put in everything you can toward that limit while it lasts, because the year you turn 64, it closes back down to the normal catch-up. These are the highest powered saving years you will ever get. And if you are in your 40s or 50s, this is the target you are walking toward. Everything you put in place now is setting you up to arrive at 60 ready to run. So when the window opens, you sprint through it, instead of finding out it was there the year after it closed. This is the part that should change how the gap feels, because a system that hands you a 4-year sprint at the very end, built for the person who is behind, has not written you off. It is built to expect your comeback. You just have to know the window is there and be standing in front of it when it opens. Now you came in here with a number that felt like a problem. You are leaving with 3 moves in the order to make them in. That is the difference between staring at a gap and starting to close it. 3 moves. Protect yourself so the next emergency cannot knock you down. Claim your match so you stop leaving your own money behind. Then aim for the window where the system finally works in your favor. The moves matter, but it was always the order that made them work. So what is next? You make these moves and the money starts to add up, slowly at first, and then you hit your first $10,000. That number matters more than it looks. It is the point where saving stops feeling pointless and starts to build on its own. The line where everything shifts. This video showed you how to start. The next one shows you what starting actually leads to. Watch it next. And if you are behind, and you want a clear, honest path forward instead of more noise, subscribe. Every video here is built for people in their 40s, 50s, and 60s who are serious about closing the gap. One new one every week. No jargon, no shame, no talking down to you. You were never bad with money, you just were never given the order. Now you have it, so go build your floor. Today. Take care of yourself. I'll see you in the next one.